Well, my journey into sim racing started around 2012, 2013. I was about 10 years old. Got a first copy of, I think, F1 2009 for the Wii. And it just started from there. Ended up getting a wheel and started playing the F1 games a lot, and then stopped playing around 2014 and came back into sim racing properly in proper sims at around 2019. And yeah, just been going from there. I wouldn't say it's had much of an impact other than it's more to do with in the culture focusing on academia. I haven't been able to put everything into it when I've been doing sim racing professionally. So I guess the trade-off with the academic side might have had some impact, but other than that, it's there's no real effect. I mean, I've always had a fascination with racing cars and just cars in general since I have memory, to be honest. So having the chance to kind of drive virtually cars that I looked up to when I was a kid just makes me more motivated. And then doing it competitively on top of it, it adds another dimension to what can just be just driving. You can do it. You can do it with other people and benchmark yourself on cars you loved as you were as a and just enjoyer of those races back on F1 2009. Kind of all a haze of driving against AI. But if you want to think about the first professional-ish sim race, it was just one of being really kind of intimidated initially, and then realizing this as you go on and as you start really battling the fun that you can have in just driving and enjoying the moment and planning ahead. And there's so many dimensions to racing that I discovered that really kept me hooked on it. Starting on a Xbox controller, Wii remote as well, begging my parents for my birthday to get me some non-force feedback Thrustmaster Ferrari wheel. I was just dying for it, and I would set it up on a table and play it all day to my parents would just tell me to get off and focus on the real world. But yeah, this was my first sort of, I guess, setup. And of course, from there, it's doing more the same, begging to get some upgrades and being like, okay, if I put more time into it, maybe I can start getting paid and maybe getting my own equipment. And that's where we're at now, which is just absolutely amazing. Well, in motorsport, we have Jim Clark, David Coulthard, my personal idol, Paul di Resta, who many may not agree to be a suitable idol, but he was definitely when I was growing up watching racing. To represent Scotland's definitely been a pleasure. Definitely a fair few good sim racers from Scotland. So there's definitely something about the air here that brings people to motorsport. And esports, of course, in general. It's been definitely a pleasure to represent the Scottish flag. Nothing that's consciously thinking about, but it's always nice to have. Well, it started by asking Florian Hasper if I could join the team, getting initially rejected, and then persevering as I really wanted to be a part of this team, as I really admired the organisation greatly. And then eventually getting into the team in the beginning of 2022, hopefully I'm right, pouring my time into showing as to why I can be a part of such an organisation. And yeah, it was a long way to getting here when I first saw the team being announced in the pandemic and seeing what great things they were doing. It definitely it was just a pleasure to finally get in the team and be a core part of it. It started with an idea in the middle of second year at university. I was struggling a bit to keep a blend of sim racing focus and of academic focus, as engineering requires you to be kind of all in. So does sim racing at a high level, to be honest. And that kind of stunted my academic performances. So I then made the idea to commit to it as what I would be doing in third year, to do sim racing full time, and to really give my absolute biggest go at it to show that I left no stone unturned if I never pursued sim racing to professional level again. And who knows if we continue, but I'm really enjoying it, and it's been a pleasure to spend the year doing sim racing. Most days it just spends waking up, having breakfast. Depends. Sometimes it's after a long night of doing sim racing, so it might be pretty late, as some people might know. But yeah, and then usually I like to have a session in the afternoon when the sun's out, and I have a lot of energy to start for the first few hours. And then having lunch, relaxing, usually 10 kind of taking into what I've learned in the first session. Sorry, often maybe going out to the gym and not staying too consistent, but usually would be hopefully going to the gym or going out to do shopping or whatever, like whatever normal things, and then doing a session along with dinner late in the evening. And depending on how that session goes is how long we may do that session. It depends. It depends on how it's going. So it could go to 2, 3 a.m. in the morning if we're really looking at trying to find something. But yeah, that's a semi-generalized way of how I'm spending my days. Balancing has been a little tricky. Of course, I don't work within the restaurant. So my parents my sister do a brilliant job of managing that side. I kind of just eat all the food that comes at the end of the day if there's any orders that haven't went through. But balancing has mostly been with family obligations. Having to leave a wedding early because I have to practice for a sim race is never nice. It's never nice to explain that. But it's been, when there's nothing too much on, it's often great. But you can be flexible. I'm not racing every day of the week. It's often when it's close to a race day, then I will pour a lot more time and have to make some compromises with social activities. Well, if you can see behind me, there's a trophy cabinet, and it's got the Le Mans Virtual third position that we got in beginning of 2023. That was following a pretty up and down season of racing in the Le Mans Virtual Series, and I poured all my effort into getting the best result we could, and we really did deliver. It was nice. It was a pleasure doing it with Bruno, Phil, and Alan. That race, and the preparation was really intense, and it was to have something pay off after what was in my opinion, a rough season was honestly absolutely great. And also the podium that we just got in ESL-R1 was not too great, but didn't hit the same like what we did last year. It was absolutely brilliant. Trying to at least have some form of sense of humor and trying to see the lighter side of things has definitely helped me, especially with super high competitive situations, and trying to use it as a tool to help bond the team together in situations where people might also be feeling a little under the weather or because of the stress. And I try and use that to not only help me but also help others to use a bit of that. Even if this might not be the best natured humor, I try to use it to my advantage. I try to stay motivated by just trying to keep the fire from within, and knowing situations before where had I have given up, I would have failed, and keeping that in my mind keeps me from ever giving up, especially in a racing situation where things are so intense. To give up is actually quite hard. You need to keep going no matter what. I'm a big fan of the traveling aspect. Some people might not like it, but I do like going on planes and just seeing other parts of the world I wouldn't have seen if it wasn't for the opportunity to do sim racing. I would have never ended up in Germany or Italy, maybe Saudi Arabia, but would have been quite late down the line. But to have the opportunity to travel as a product of something I love doing it just makes things 10 times better. Representing BMW and Motorsport was definitely something that I was conscious of when I was joining the team, and that was really one of the best things about being part of the team, is representing such a manufacturer. It's something that doesn't seem quite real sometimes, as weird as it is to say. But this has been an opportunity that I've definitely taken to and I've absolutely loved, and I'm very grateful to be a part of this. Well, I'm a big aviation geek, so I don't do plane spotting much, but I do enjoy just talking about planes and just doing flight simulator occasionally. Apart from that, also going to the gym, although I'm not the most consistent, but when I am, I love going to the gym. Love doing weightlifting occasionally, and going for long walks to clear my mind, especially after a tricky race. Going for long walks in an aimless direction is always fun. Apart from that, I love food, clearly, and I do enjoy going out, eating out, and having a good time. For me, the aspiration of becoming a pilot has been something I've had since I was pretty young, since I had memory, pretty much. It was a blend between racing driver and pilot, and what a pilot definitely seemed more realistic and something that I enjoyed. Before I did sim racing, I was an avid flight simulator player, I guess you could call it that. But I was playing Flight Simulator 24/7, learning every aircraft study level to a study level degree, and just had an obsession with it, and something that the passion still holds to this day. Is a testament to the fact that that's the end goal for me, and if I can use sim racing as a way to help achieve that goal, then I don't mind. Enjoy the moment, because those moments where you're driving just for fun, like during the COVID lockdowns, I drove so much at home and we're just having the best fun I could have imagined with some good friends that I made along the way. And those times were something that I didn't maybe savor enough. And I wish I maybe would have recorded, to tell my younger self to have recorded those moments so I could look back on them. But yeah, enjoy the moment and don't get too locked in per se, and don't obsess over it too much. You'll still get there anyway. You just need to keep putting in the work. My mother, who's been so invested academically into my academia and to my life, that I want to pursue this. I know that I have some form of ability to do quite okay in it, to do it, and she was really understanding. And she bought my first. She bought me a SimiCube 2 Pro, and this was when I knew she's really wanting me to do well. Like, she would not just spend that if she didn't believe that there was something there. And apart from that, of course, my father as well. He definitely helped a lot in terms of not bringing it down and keeping me up. And as well, of course, Florian as well for bringing me to the team and allowing me to hit my potential. My cousin Isla is definitely a BS competition fanatic. I think she's got more BS gear than anyone I know, and she's constantly wanting to go on the rig, and yeah, hopefully she can get one of her own someday, because she will finally stop nagging me to drive. But yeah, biggest super fan, which I appreciate.
And that's it.
Bam. And cut. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Well done.
Bam. Thank you.